So the last two videos were making a planet in which the bases were on the two poles and you fight by going around them, and then two cruisers in space where you launch and then you just fight in space. So if you want to see how I made either of those, go check the last two videos. Otherwise, we're going to make the third map. The third map is effectively just going to be a big old box which inverts gravity every, I don't know, 20 or so seconds. I'm going to make that a parameter that you can set when you load into the map. All right. So I just made a note of that. Let's clear these two maps out. Let's remove the scene, and let me just really quickly make a list of things. So we gotta set the death camera up. We gotta set up spawn points. We need to actually build the map. I'm thinking about keeping it really simple and just using some like shipping containers in the middle. There was actually, let me see if I can find a picture of this, a Congregate game called Ballistic. It got ported to Steam under the name Ballistic Overkill. It was an okay game. It was an okay game. It was like the best shooter you could play for free on a computer that couldn't play games, but it's a really shitty shooter. It was this map. Effectively, it was just a big warehouse, and you'd fight in that, and there were little things that would carry you across, like moving platforms. I want to do something like that, but effectively, you know, have it here, and then again in a slightly different layout here, and then the gravity is going to change every few seconds. Let's start this shit. So we have a scene. We're just gonna open that additively. We have a main camera. I'm gonna untag, and we're just gonna call it the death camera. We're also going to create an empty called map information. This map information is gonna need a map information component in which we're going to steal our death camera, and we'll make the spawn points later. So the first thing that we're gonna want to do is make a giant box. There's one potential issue that I can see with this map, and that is if we were to spawn, say, on this floor, and then the gravity is set for the other floor, we don't really have a way of, you know, knowing which spawn point to use when. What I'm thinking is that we have a little tiny like pocket, which is going to actually be the base area on each side. All right, let's get some spawn points in here so we can test. I'm gonna kind of just cheat by loading in our other map, and then we're gonna unload that, and we're gonna take our spawn points. Okay, so we now have our blue spawn points here, and I'm gonna move this out so we can just duplicate this, move it over here, and then go here. And take all of these and just rotate them 180 degrees and set the team to red. So now we can go to our map information. We already have the death camera. Lock that, select all of the blue and all of the red, and just put them here. Okay, and that actually should be enough that we can load into this map to test it. The lighting is gonna be uber fucked, uber broken, but we can test the rest of it. Okay, so we have Gravity Labs. And start game. We should start on the blue side, which we do. And as you can tell, the lighting is a little fucked in here. Okay, so for now, that's what we're gonna have. God, this is like so reminiscent of on YouTube. I used to work on an FPS game, which never came out. But the maps looked very, the maps would always, like, I mean, I'd put effort into them, but they would always look kind of basic because I only had a certain number of models to actually, like, fill them with. It was cool, though. It was very fun. One of these days, I'll actually make a shooter like this, but not today. Today, we're making sword combat games. Again, these are like all hastily put together. I could do the math to like figure out exact positions for certain things, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel like it some days. I'm not trying to justify my own being lazy. I'm just saying that it's okay. So let's select all of these and contribute to global illumination. And then this is gonna absolutely kill my computer. Generate lighting. I just want to see how long it says it's gonna take. And actually, let me move this so that you can see too. An hour. All right, I'll be back. All right, it has officially been an hour. We have lighting data for in here. Let me save this before it gets too shit, or before we lose it, I should say. And let's look at how it looks. I should have just canceled it and kept working on this, because I'm still gonna make the other side of the map, and then we gotta make the thing that swaps gravity, and that's gonna take programming, which is, you know, a skill set that at the moment I'm not too great at. Gravity Labs. Let's look. Okay, so we definitely gotta do some stuff, because some of these look very, very flat. The blue ones look fine. So there's something about the blue ones that we need to like actually pay attention to and take the details from. It's better. I think I'm gonna try and finish the map before I rebuild the lights anymore, because that took an hour. Fucking hour. Also, it's like 60 megabytes of lighting data. Also, scale wise, these are a little big, which is okay. It just means that there's going to be very few spots where you could actually get onto them. So now let's build the other half of the map. Okay, I'm sure I am missing some. We now have our two little side rooms, and then we have the gray everything on the inside. We definitely need to rebuild the lighting a little bit. And then we have our map. So if we look at our death camera, we now see this, which is definitely a map. It's symmetrical, which is cool. Let's save that. Now let's get to, I guess, building in the little thingy that flips everything. I know we can have a network object that is like in the scene. We can just spawn it when the scene loads. The scene manager will take care of that. So we're gonna just make something called the Gravity Labs timer. And we're gonna make a little C# script called Gravity Timer. And we're gonna open that here. And I'm gonna go talk to someone about turning off the fucking heater. I could not turn the heater off, but I opened the massive door that is right next to my desk. So hopefully all of the heat leaves this room very, very quickly. Okay, so Mr. Frankman from the past did a pretty bad job of explaining how this script works. It's super simple. We just keep a reference to a gravity zone, and we store an on position and an off position, and then we just track this time between. So we have a timer. Once that timer has elapsed past this time between gravities, if we're in the on position, we go to the off position. And if we're in the off position, we go to the on position. That's the entire script. Let's see if it works on the server. And if it works on the server, then we can test it on a client side situation. I don't know what my roommates are doing, but they're kind of going nuts. Okay. Oh, we don't get to see the timer. But after 20 seconds, we should get something that just randomly swaps gravity. There we go. And now we're on this side. Oh, that's interesting. We get stuck there. All right, do these work? Those work. Okay, so we just got to fix the upside down ramps and then test it client side. Maybe it's just because it's upside down that it doesn't really like it. It's possible. That'll just be a minor bug. That'll just, you know, impact gameplay whenever we actually get to fucking test this thing. I'm going to build this. And we'll see if it works in a client server setting. And if it does, then we're super set. Alright, this is the moment of truth. This is the server. This is the client. We're loading in. We're on the same team, but there's still going to be some client-side predictive issues during the flip. But that's the main goal this week. Of actually figuring it out, but that's not going to be handled in this video. That's going to get its own. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Let's watch that guy get flipped. That's actually really cool. I'm super happy with how all of these are coming together. What's really great about this, I effectively over the last month or so have just spent a lot of time making it so that the characters can interact with the world in ways that you don't typically see in FPS games. And so the sandbox is going to be very, very interesting. The sandbox just refers to what you can get your hands on. The idea that this is a map and that a planet is a map, or the fantasy in my head with the cruiser map is that once vehicles exist, we can drive them into the zero gravity area and effectively have them be missiles that carry people to the other side, and you can get them going a lot faster than a player can. That's sort of the goal, is to just sort of like I'm just one guy. I have a little bit of knowledge, and I can use that knowledge to create some interesting experiences and some interesting gameplay opportunities that hopefully, if like I don't think this is pushing any sort of boundary, but if it clicks something in someone's head and they have an idea, that's fucking great. That's all I want. But worst case, we end up with a goofy little arcade sword combat game that I get to just have fun with my friends. End of the day, what I want. So I've been Frank. I've been developing this game for a while. I will continue to be developing this game for a while. If you didn't like this video, I really don't know why the fuck you're still around. But if you did, get subscribed. If you didn't, get subscribed. There's 100% something on this channel that you're going to want to stick around for. So yeah, thanks for watching. Sincerely, thank you for the watch time. Really boosts the algorithm. And I'll see you in the next video.